let's talk about the title character, Azeb.
Azeb, yeah. Azeb is one of the three daughters of Azeb Yitades. Azeb Yitades is the parish priest in Machar. And
no, it's not the Catholic Church.
No, it's the Orthodox Christian Church, which is in its rights, it's different from what's known as the Eastern Orthodox, because for one thing, we have what we call the Tabot, which none of the other Orthodox Christian churches have, and that Tabot is a replica of the tables of the law, and that has got historical significance for us because we claim to have inherited the Ark of the Covenant, and that's how we. And the rites and practices are also significantly different from many of those Eastern Orthodox Christian churches.
At one point, some Christian missionaries come and aren't considered Christian.
Yeah, well, that's true because for one thing, Ethiopia is one of the few countries to adopt Christianity around the 4th century.
Very early.
Very, very early, and we are proud of that heritage. And so the belief is very much entrenched that any deviation from those practices is non-Christian. So you can imagine when those American missionaries came in and they established a church which serves as an auditorium, you can imagine the horror of the public, because church is a sacred place, and a church has got different architecture from an auditorium. Yes, and the tables have turned on them.
Watching the missionaries squirm, being told that they weren't Christian.
Yeah, that's true. And also because the Old Testament is very much observed, and that we strictly observe what we call clean and unclean food.
Sort of the dietary Jewish dietary laws.
Yes, and so for example, pork, we don't eat pork, much like Muslims and Jews. And so anybody who eats pork is like horror. I mean, what kind of religion it is? That's the, and of course we observe very many fast days. You know, we fast on the average 180 days a year.
That's sort of the bare minimum.
Yeah, that's the most common one. And when that fast is when you abandon all sorts of animal products. In other words, you become completely what they call in this country, I suppose, vegan, because you don't eat meat, egg, milk, cheese, or anything of that sort. And we also have what we call gahad, and that we entirely abstain from food and drink for 9 sunlight hours. And once again, those American missionaries totally ignored those practices.
Azeb Yitades, the title character, befriends the daughter of the missionaries, Una?
Una, yes.
Who, on the plus side for her, speaks the local language.
Yes, she does. They grew up together, and of course they have been through a lot, particularly soon at the end of the story. And when Azeb found herself in crisis, Una was the one to come to her aid.
Una is really the only one who goes the extra distance for her.
Who stood by her, and of course in the end, Jehovah was not around, and Una, even her parents, I mean, who were quite liberal and supportive, in the end they saw that Una was sacrificing her own education, and they didn't want her to do that, because it took over almost 2 years for Una to extricate Azeb from this crisis. And yes, that's the friendship they nurtured over those years, because they grew up together. They're like sisters, and it's a very, very small village, and of course, Una was Azeb was like sister to Una. That's how she considered her.
And then at the end of the book, of course, the revolution comes, and everything, and so many of the characters get swept away by it. It was like being slapped in the face suddenly.
And once again, that's rooted in reality, because I have seen, now for example, some of those lawyers, judges, and what have you, who are trained and educated in the United States, finally, when the revolution overthrew the old system, a number of them ended up in boot camps, prison, and political rehabilitation centers, and some of them were executed in the novel. In real life as well, such things happened. So I witnessed it, and I was part in that transition. So it's true. That's why the book is such an epic journey, and it covers different phases in the political life of the country, as well as that small village, Machara, and also the people living in it.
The book is The Unfortunate Marriage of Azeb Yitades. I've been speaking with the author Nega Mezlekia, and The Unfortunate Marriage of Azeb Yitades is published by Penguin Canada.